Good morning and welcome to another edition of Inside Leisure, where you're joined with me, Zoe Cooper. And this morning we're talking with David Monkhouse, Director of Leisure-Net and CIMSPA Trustee. We're going to be talking to David about how Leisure-Net have been getting on during lockdown and future plans, part of their recovery post-COVID-19. Morning, David. Thank you so much for joining us on Inside Leisure this morning. How are you? How have you been getting on?
Very well, thank you, Zoe. Just back from a week's leave in Cornwall, so quite a lot of rain and wind, but nothing a good tent and wetsuit can't cope with, to be honest.
And I've seen that you've started your own hockey club, haven't you? Wasn't that one of your...
Yeah, I have. Yeah, absolutely. We tried to start it at the beginning of lockdown, didn't quite go to plan, and then it's been a struggle to find pitches and things. But yeah, we start Trent Valley Hockey Club on Sunday. Yeah, so really looking forward to it. Just a junior development, no adults, just under 8s to under 16s and a bit of badges. But yeah, it's all about sport for development, the stuff that make a difference to my life and has made a difference to other people's lives.
Oh, well, good luck with that. Sounds great. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, David, can you give us a little bit of an insight and a background to the industry confidence survey that you've recently published?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as part of the piece around ActiveNet, we put out a confidence survey in March, just after we had to postpone ActiveNet, obviously, to next year. And we just thought it might be interesting just to see how people are currently feeling. So almost put the line in the sand just as we went into COVID. And we talked to suppliers and operators, predominantly from the ActiveNet cohort of customers. And we just got their views as to how confident they were, how in short term, long term, medium term, how they thought they were going to be affected by COVID-19. So we did that in March, and then we just repeated it at the end of sort of middle of August. We've got the results at the moment.
Wow. Okay. So from the survey, how significantly has COVID affected leisure operators today, and how much does this compare to the results from March?
Well, I think it's all more negative. Most people who know me know I'm very much an optimist. I'm always glass half full. But the survey is showing that actually the levels of confidence and optimism have gone down. So as an example, in March, for the operator's point of view, 50% were extremely confident they'd survive the next 12 months. But in August, only 13%. So a reduction of 37% in their confidence of survival over the next 12 months. And also that we talked about long-term, short-term, medium impact, and significant impact over the long term. March was 14% and August is now 29%, so an increase of 15%. So actually the view from the operators is very much the negative side, that actually over time, this has felt like it's going to do more damage and is doing more damage to their business. And I think we can all see that. We can see how long it's lasted. You know, take ActiveNet itself. We were supposed to be March the 24th. We postponed on, I think, the 15th of March or something, and said, look, we're going to do this on July the 6th and 7th. You know, we thought it was only going to take a few weeks, we'd be sorted. So I think the operators have sensed and felt, because over the length of time that we've had to be closed, the speed of recovery, that actually there is potential for quite substantial damage to operators.
So what are leisure operators planning to do to adapt their operations?
Well, there's quite a lot of stuff. There's some interesting things in there as well. So in the main, I think if we go in order, it was about reduced capacity. So, and I think we've had to do that because of the guidance anyway. You know, converting sports halls into gyms is going to be a challenge for sports, for example, but you can get almost a good number of people into the gym with social distancing, etc. Online booking only was quite interesting. So just changing the way they've done that. So I guess it reduces the resource at front of house and that type of stuff. Reduced opening hours was quite high. New digital offering actually wasn't as high as we thought it was going to be. It's not quite where it is. There's some temporary closures. But I suppose the real negative side is 46% of organisations are currently thinking about redundancy. 26% are talking about permanent closure. But interestingly, actually 9% are doing extended opening hours. So they've said, well, look, actually, if we open a little bit longer, perhaps we can get our capacity and our numbers through opening longer, rather than trying to get more people into the limited space that we've got. So I think operators have looked at this, and they've looked at their businesses, and they've looked at how they can work together. They've looked at what's open in the area as well, which has been quite interesting, and they've had phased approaches to reopening their sites. But in the long term, I think, with my CIMSPA hat on, I think the workforce has some challenges coming through. Personally, I've got a lot of colleagues who are being made redundant at the moment, looking for work, etc. So I think that workforce challenge is the biggest one for us in the sector as operators at the moment.
Absolutely. So do you think, kind of answers your question after what you've just said, but do you think operators are confident about the future?
Well, operators, the operators that we spoke to were split into three main groups. So local authorities, trusts and external partners, those people that manage contracts for local authorities. And it was quite interesting actually, because the local authorities, 20% of the local authorities are extremely confident of survival. They believe they'll be fine. Trust, only 14% were extremely confident of survival. And actually none of the external partners were extremely confident of survival. But if you span that around, only 14% of the trusts were not at all confident of survival. And 100% of the external partners are extremely they're comfortable that they will be quite comfortable, they will survive. So there's a difference in how, I guess, how you're funded. So the local authorities, because of the way they're funded, a lot of people felt that they were going to be they were going to survive. The trusts, I guess it depends on how well the trust has performed in the past, how much subsidy they currently get, how close they're working with their authorities. And the external partners, it is going to be about the contracts. And as we know, margins are quite small. So I think the external partners have that concern around recovery and the cost of recovery, combined with the limited amount of income they can generate through their businesses. So I think that the future is bright from a point of view. I think more people are taking part in activity, more people are thinking about exercise, more people are thinking about prehabilitation, so using health and fitness in order to protect us from COVID-20 or 21 or diabetes or obesity. So I think there's some opportunities there. I just think we as a sector, we've got to get A, the messaging right, and B, we really do need to get the Exchequer funding sorted so that we can support organisations to continue to deliver physical activity to as many people in our population as we can.
Thank you. Was there any surprises at all from the survey?
I don't think there's surprises. I think what I was personally really pleased about was that all organisations predominantly were very happy with the support they'd had from the sector, from people like Sport England, from UK Active, from CIMSPA, from you guys, the SDA, from Swim England, etc. It was really quite low. 13% of local authorities were not happy, and 7% of trusts were not happy with industry support. So actually, that was really quite pleasing to see, and I think it's something that I've talked about a lot when I get this side of the interviewing table. It's the collaboration. It's just been fantastic to see how people have been prepared to share, how people are prepared to talk, to offer guidance, to give their views, and to be honest as well, to be open and to be honest about how they're feeling. We had a conversation off air effectively about the way I'm currently feeling, and I am a very positive person, but it is very tough. It's tough for my business at the moment, and it's tough for the sector that I love. So actually the fact that those organisations have done what they've done and people are happy with it, I think that's really pleasing rather than surprising.
No, thank you. And how can people get a copy of this survey if they want to, digest the information?
Simple. Just drop me a line, Zoe. Just drop me a line at David Monkhouse at leisure-net.org, or find our website, leisure-net.org. And yeah, there's links on there, or just drop me a line and I'll send you a copy of the report. Health Club Management are doing an article with us in the beginning of September, so this week, next week. So there'll be some good detail and insight in there further than we've just shared.
Oh, that's brilliant. So what we'll do is we'll put a link to your contact details on this video for people to copy it and make contact. Thank you so much for your time today. Let's see what the future holds for the leisure over the forthcoming months. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Zoe. Take care. Bye-bye.